There may be no limit to the amount of pain they can endure. The desire to win often outweighs intolerance for pain. Nobody knows this more than James Stewart, who has suffered 3 consecutive heartbreaking seasons in AMA motocross, and he's starting his 4th season still in rehab from knee surgery. But Stewart isn't the only rider who is fresh from a break. 2007 runner-up Mike Alessi is back. Ben Townley is moving up from the lights, and returning from injury, Ivan Tedesco is finally looking to start back up after a broken hand. And don't forget about the riders with momentum from Supercross. Kawasaki's Timmy Ferry is strong. Honda's Andrew Short comes off 3 straight podium finishes. And Davey Millsaps won his first Supercross race this season and now has a taste for more success. A new season, new hope. AMA Toyota Motocross returns on speed. The beginning of any new racing season is always exciting, and that's what this is right now. Welcome to the AMA Toyota Motocross Championship. And this is the 13th annual Giant RV AMA Motocross National. Hi everyone, Lee Diffie along with the man who won this event in 1997, Jeff Emig. And look at this field assembled here at the marvelous Glen, Helen Raceway in San Bernardino, California. What a field. It is breezy. There has been a lot of rain leading into this event. It's a good day to ride. However, it's not so good to spectate. It is pretty cool. Time now for a progressive pit report with Aaron Bates with a man who will not be riding today.
Mike Alessi, Ben Townley, Ivan Tedesco, and along with Michael Berner, just a few of those riders that spent the entire winter off recovering. Another rider to add to that list is defending motocross champion Grant Langston, who just recently, 3 weeks ago, broke his right collarbone, but the more serious injury is the eye injury. Grant, before originally reported, your eye injury is a lot more serious. What is the update on it, and how long until both of these injuries till we see you back?
Basically, at this point, it's a little tough to tell. You know, with the collarbone, I had it plated. It was a pretty good break, so they wanted to plate it. And, you know, in a few weeks, that'll be fine. I'll be able to get back in the gym, get my shoulder strength back, and everything, you know, physically will be all right. Like you said, the eye issue is an issue. I had the laser procedure done. It was helping at a very slow rate, you know, as a racer, a really slow rate. And then when I crashed and I did have the concussion, it actually got worse again. And, you know, it's kind of frustrating. I've never dealt with something that just doesn't get better and has actually gotten worse. So over the next couple of weeks, I'll be seeing a few different specialists. And I really got my fingers crossed at this point to get some answers and get it fixed. Because, like I said, that's the one thing that concerns me. The collarbone is not really an issue. A couple of weeks and I'll be good.
Grant Langston having the recovery time on the sidelines right now, but another rider who spent some time getting some surgery done, who's back for battle tonight, James Stewart. Take a look.
Oh, you're looking good. The surgery was definitely not what I wanted to do, but you know, it's one of those things that I always tell myself, you know, as long as I've done everything I possibly can do, then I'm all right with any decision I make because, you know, there's nothing else I can do. And it's a lot easier going to sleep at night knowing that. And it wasn't necessarily the pain that was, you know, the problem. It was just that, you know, by the time I got to Anaheim 2, my knee was just popping in and out. You know, I just had to take a chance and, you know, get it done. But I think it's going to be good when I come back.
Good luck.
Thank you.
When I first got back on the training was a week after surgery. I was back on the bicycle. And, you know, I think that's what sped my recovery up. It was good. I mean, it was tough. It was a lot of pain. It was a lot of suffering, but I knew, you know, it was all worth it. It's been a while. You know, I just started riding this week and feeling pretty good, feeling like I'm ready to get back out there and race. You know, I definitely miss it and stuff. You know, I think these injuries, they give you a little time to, you know, re-amp yourself, re-motivate, and I think a person who can tell you that would be Kevin Windham. You know, how he took a year off, and now, you know, he's talking about racing another 4 or 5 years. And even Ricky, he went through the same thing, and I mean, he's told me if he didn't get hurt, he would have quit a lot earlier. That's what I'm looking forward to, is just go back to the race and have fun. I mean, I felt like I've been to the hardest parts, and everything else should just be fun now, you know.
And we'd like to thank the gang at Fox Racing and Todd Bell in particular for his assistance with that feature story. And this is a very big day, Jeff, for James Stewart.
Well, it definitely is. And when you sat on the sidelines like that, as we take a look at Mike Alessi, you sat at home, you watch the other guys win the races, get the glory. It really motivates you to come back. And this championship, AMA Motocross Championship, is what Stewart does not have on his resume as a champion.
You see the Honda race format there. Highest scorer over the two motos will win. And this is the Suzuki starting grid based off the combined practice times. James Stewart, the fastest qualifier for today's opening round of the AMA Toyota Motocross Championship at Glen Helen Raceway. A lot of excitement surrounding this, and a lot of riders wanting to prove a point at the beginning of the 2008 motocross season. Josh Hill will carry our onboard camera.
And you can see he's just to the right of the starting box here, just on your left-hand side. Long, fast start.
New motocross season is away. Look at this drag race up towards turn one. Talladega on the left. As we take a look, Josh Hill, this is what it's like to be in the middle of the pack. Balby on 55 ahead. Who got the whole shot? It's Mike Alessi. Stewart goes around him though.
Stewart, very aggressive move right around the first turn. This is Motocross League. You see all that roost flying up into our onboard camera. You get a bad start this summer, you have 24 of those opportunities. So Stewart off to a great start. This is just what he needs after coming off that injury, is to get out and be able to ride his own race and not worry about any of the other riders. You can see just how much Stewart and Alessi have gapped even third place, which is Tim Ferry.
On the opening lap, track in beautiful condition, lovely loamy soil. And the boys are into it right from the start. James Stewart leads Mike Alessi, leads Timmy Ferry, and then it's the Honda Brigade.
Down Mount St. Helens, they've got some new sections here at Glen Helen this year. Track is very fast. These 450 machines, so much horsepower, and they really get a chance to open it up. All these riders have been riding Supercross for most of the year. Now they get a chance to really see what sort of top speed these bikes can put out. And Mike Alessi not letting Stewart go at all. You know, second last year in the championship. Alessi has always been a motocross specialist. After being injured in the Supercross championship, you know Mike Alessi is really motivated, as is Stewart, to win this motocross crown.
And one of the many to make a switch. Alessi going to Suzuki this year. Ben Townley switching from Kawasaki to Honda and stepping it up to the motocross class.
And once again, two more riders that were hurt in Supercross. They've been at home training, but not getting to actually race to enjoy the fruits of all their work. Ben Townley and Ivan Tedesco, teammates, all stacked up together. The Honda boys right there almost in line.
And switching from the Makita Suzuki team, Ivan Tedesco, as he gets overtaken from Davey Millsaps on the 118, fresh from a really positive and productive Supercross season.
You got to wonder if all that testing and practicing that these riders do together is what, you know, you see all the Honda guys here together. Now they're all kind of glued together because they've just spent the last 6 months testing and riding together.
Will it be a reinvigorated, rejuvenated Ivan Tedesco on the 9? On the Red Bull Honda? We will find out throughout the course of this season.
And you can see this sand here, this is not natural to Glen Helen. This is something that the track builders and the promoters have added in. Now you get back into a little more of the traditional style Glen Helen, where they're coming down now with some sand that they've added there years and years ago that still remains.
Let's take a look at the progressive whole shot replay on the left of your screen on the Rockstar Makita Suzuki. Mike Alessi, he is one of the best gators, one of the best starters you will see in motocross. But James Stewart said, you can have the whole shot. I'm going to take the lead as quick as that.
Just completely outbraked him. And that really shows a lot of aggression, a lot of confidence on James Stewart's part. We see the riders coming down this drop-off. I love this section here because you jump down, you kind of accelerate a little bit. and you need to leave it on a little longer, you know, or at least you try to, and then you hard on the brakes on a 180 straight up Mount St. Helens. I'm telling you, our cameras do not do the uphill and especially this downhill justice, because it is very fast. It's a very dangerous section.
The undulation on the Glen Helen Raceway course is just spectacular. For a spectator, that is. For a rider, it is somewhat daunting. Ben Townley showing well in his first ride in the motocross class on the Red Bull Honda, chasing down third place Timmy Ferry, and he's got Davey Millsaps pursuing him.
This is another new section here. It's got this double, triple down, and you have to triple with a lot of speed, and then you see so many braking bumps. You see Davey Millsaps coming in there, just hammering the brakes. Tough to get these bikes stopped.
Think about the point that James Stewart has to prove. Well, maybe not the point he has to prove, but what he wants to accomplish in season 2008. As Jeff said at the beginning of the broadcast, an AMA Toyota Motocross title is not on his resume yet. 2 lights titles are, but he wants the big one. There is nobody in this race here today who has won an AMA Motocross title. Sure, there are a couple of riders who have won lights titles, but no one with the big one.
Yeah, this is the crown jewel of motocross, there's no doubt. And we have a very stacked field this year. As you see Townley and Millsaps coming down the hill, hard on the brakes. There's so many really tough braking points and downhills in this track here today.
Tedesco is shadowing his Honda teammates. Townley is under increasing pressure. Almost went all the way and won the AMA Motocross Lights title. Millsaps on the inside. Great move on the inside. We are up and away at Glen Helen. More after this break on Speed. At the Glen Helen Pavilion, the site of many a good concert and plenty of entertainment. And if you're watching this show, there's a good chance that you know firsthand motorcycle racing is a non-stop adrenaline rush. Stay on top of it all. SpeedTV.com is the place. Get the latest motorcycle racing news, results, and in-depth commentary you crave. It's online and it's all in one place. SpeedTV.com.
You know, I have been to a concert there. We went and seen Ozfest with Black Sabbath just over the hill from the motocross track. It was awesome.
You're watching the scrap for fourth between Davey Millsaps and Ben Townley. Tedesco is not too far behind either. Glen Helen was the 12th and final round last year. It is the opening round this year. 4 different makes of bike have won over the past 4 years. Which make will get on top in 2008? If you've just joined us, James Stewart on board his Kawasaki is leading the way.
And I tell you, the riders and especially the fans are enjoying having this race in May. Unseasonably cold weather, actually had some rain. It is a very good day to spectate, and the track has been in great condition, you know, as opposed to when the race was in September. Very hot, very dry, end of the season. Everyone just wanted to get the championship over with and go home, but now we've got really enthusiastic racers. They are looking forward to a great summer of motocross.
You can see the rain has helped the condition of the track, and you can see that 2 wins in the recent Supercross season has helped Davey Millsaps because he is in great form in 2008. Here comes Townley on the outside at the top of Mount St. Helen. Around the outside, super move.
Wow, what a move by Townley, just really holding it on, and that he set that up by getting a drive up Mount St. Helens. Looks like the left side line really is the best line to take. Just really battling hard. And, you know, last year when Townley and Villapoto went at it, you know, knuckle to knuckle in the Lights Championship, it's the experience like that is what Townley draws upon to, you know, in this certain situation where he just does not give up. And that was, even though Townley was second last season in the Lights, that was one of the most hard-fought championships that I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's right. 6 overall wins to Villapoto, 5 overall wins to Ben Townley. It was a very narrow margin at the end of last year's AMA Toyota Motocross Championship. The former world champion, Ben Townley from New Zealand. This will be a big year for him to stamp his mark on the big class here in the United States.
Well, and this is his first chance here, you know, to race on a Honda. As we take a look at the replay, Townley on our right, riders left. You see he just scrubs that, just stays a little bit lower and just carries his speed. Millsaps really doesn't put up much of a fight. He knows that's his teammate. You know, he's not going to put him off in the weeds.
And they hold position. Townley in 4th, Millsaps in 5th. Time to join Aaron Bates for a progressive pit report.
Well, the much anticipated debut of Ben Townley, not only in the MX class, but also episode for the Factory Red Bull Honda team is finally here. The last time we saw him racing right before his injury was actually 1 year ago here in Glen Helen. Since then, he's coming in with a whole new outlook, a whole different attitude, new class, new bike, new team, and a new trainer. He said he's going to take these first few rounds and try to get his rhythm back. It's been a long time since we've seen him, and he said he's extremely happy just to be here.
And to come here, Jeff, with that win here at Glen Helen in the lights class last year, that's got to give him enormous confidence as well now in the main class.
Well, Townley is definitely a premier rider, and this being his first ride with Honda, it was tough to have that injury and a couple of injuries in a row, but he really has done his homework, and he's come out very strong here in the first round.
We've seen a lot of the Red Bull Honda boys, but when we come back, we'll see more of the Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki of race leader James Stewart, Mike Alessi, and Timmy Ferry. Helen Raceway here in California, race leader James Stewart, big comeback ride. What a significant day in his career.
Well, he definitely has been strong here. As we take a look back through the field, this is Mike Alessi setting second place, also coming off of an injury, but not close to James Stewart. Alessi suffered that broken collarbone at the San Diego Supercross. Tim Ferry's a rider, though. He's been pounding it out week in, week out. Suffered a small injury middle of Supercross, but definitely strong here.
18th season for Timmy Ferry in AMA competition and running nice in third.
18 seasons of this. Supercross and motocross is not easy on your body. You're going to ask Ben Townley. He's had numerous injuries since he's been here in the States. And Tim Ferry, just such a strong individual, such a great guy, just works so hard at this, has had so much success, but 18 seasons?
He'll be checking his pit board closely too, because it will be informing him that Ben Townley is coming and coming fast.
And you know what's interesting, as you see Ferry jump this huge triple, and then there's a big tabletop after that, is that he's seen the jumps multiply almost double from what the bikes can do. So it would be tough if you went from that first year to this year.
Sure.
Luckily, he's taking baby steps all the way there.
Timmy Ferry had an overall win last year in the AMA Toyota Motocross Championship, would like to do the same again this year. The Red Bull Honda squad, Ivan Tedesco showing well today, chasing after Millsaps. Yet to see Andrew Short. There he is there in the background on the 29.
Once again, the Honda boys are all stacking up together. Short closing in on the back of Tedesco. Millsap starting to work his way back to Tedesco. He was so strong up there battling with Townley. Townley now has reeled in Timmy Ferry. We'll see if Millsaps can find the line again, maybe, reduce the heart rate, let the arm pump get away, and race forward. But Ben Townley right now, who's on our right side of our screen in the red, really put on a charge, is going after Tim Ferry.
When you come back from an injury like Ben Townley has, both two of them, wrist and ankle, and Bobley's down. Townley drops it. How quickly can he get back up and get going? Through goes Millsaps. There's Tedesco. And through goes Andrew Short. 3 positions gone for Ben Townley. That's a shame.
Yeah, that's a shame, because he really was riding strong and moving forward. I think he let the back of the bike get out a little bit. The rear tire just gets over the berm. And you notice he didn't really hammer it. He kind of knew that it was gone, and then he just laid it over. What was also important is that you seen him actually grab the left side of the bars where the clutch is with his right hand before he picked it up, keep the engine running.
It's an awesome day if you're number 7, James Stewart, dominating at Glen Helen. Back at Glen Helen, the AMA Toyota Motocross Championship continues. Round 1 of the 2008 season, and you are looking at Davey Millsaps, who has bridged the gap to Timmy Ferry. It's on.
Well, I think with Millsaps, when he's seen Townley go down, motivated him, and he really has put on a strong ride here. Reeling in Tim Ferry as we head back towards Mount Whitney. This is one of the newer sections of the track, where only the fans that can hike back in there get a chance to see it, and all our viewers here on Speed.
Look at this, Millsaps on the outside. Ferry knows that he's there, switches lines. We saw him put a great out-braking maneuver on Townley, and he's done the same on Timmy Ferry.
Wow, that was awesome, Lee. He really came down Mount Whitney with a lot of speed, just found a great line. Made that pass look very easy on a very difficult section.
4th in this year's Supercross Championship. Take another look at it, Jeff.
You've seen Ferry take a look over his right shoulder and just move to his right to close him off. Millsaps was not to be denied, just comes barreling right down the center. That's a tough one to take, being passed on the outside. And this is another pass here with Short on the outside, just basically drives past his teammate. No racer likes to be passed on the outside. That's the toughest spot. If somebody sneaks by you on the inside, you can take that, but the outside, they just blew past you.
And what compounds that frustration is when it's your teammate.
Your teammate who was on the same bike, the same brakes, the same suspension technicians, yeah, so.
Look at the rhythm, the fluidity of James Stewart. It's the final lap, and this is a wonderful way to come back. He acknowledges the crowd because this is the perfect way to start the 2008 AMA Toyota Motocross Championship.
Total domination. Nobody even came close to him this moto.
The only time somebody was in front of James Stewart was Mike Alessi when he got the whole shot. Stewart wins Moto 1 at Glen Helen. And does it in style. Here is the rockstar Makita Suzuki of Mike Alessi. Great wait for him to come back from injury and begin his motocross campaign for his new team. And that's a solid start. And third, you saw the pass earlier, Davey Millsaps executed that wonderful move on Timmy Ferry and will stand on the podium. Ferry for 4, Andrew Short in 5, and Ben Townley regrouped to be in the top 6. Let's hear from Davey Millsaps, who finished 3rd.
Davey Millsaps proving that he's got a lot of fight in him. First, he's battling with Ben Townley, but then right at the last moment, you make a pass past Tim Ferry. Take us through that.
Well, you know, I didn't get the greatest start. All the Honda guys were ahead of me, and, you know, I had to pass him as fast as I could just to get around him, and I saw Ferry, caught up to him, and then I had a little issue with my bike. You know, I started to blubber and slow down a little bit, and then, I don't know, I saw Townley go down and gave me a little bit of motivation. I just pinned it, and I don't know, it was a good race for me.
Certainly was a great race for Davey Millsaps being on the podium. You can be on the podium as well if you stay on top of the action. Get green alerts from Speed Mobile. You want the absolute latest news and results? Get them right now on your phone. Just text KX to 773333 on your mobile phone to get free motorcycle racing text alerts. Speed Green Alerts presented by Kawasaki. Now here's our runner-up.
Mike, did you expect this today, and do you have anything else left for James?
Oh, yeah. I mean, James was riding good, and I mean, I could have gone out there and tried to race him, but I'm going to save it for the second moto and trying to get out there, you know, get another good start and ride up there with James.
And it was a hard task, wasn't it? Because James was just a mile out in front. A superb race. Let's hear his thoughts.
James, after such a long hiatus, how motivated are you to be back?
I'm very motivated. You know, I'm just having a blast. You know, it was fun out there to get back, and you know, I can't thank the team enough. You know, they've been sticking behind me, and it's good to come off the couch and get a first win.
The fans have missed you. Great to see you back.
Thank you.
The face says it all. He is thrilled to start the 2008 motocross season that way. That's Moto 1 out of the way. When we come back, Moto 2, stick around. We welcome you back to Glen Helen. Time now for a progressive pit report with Erin Bates, where she stumbled across a countryman of mine.
Well, there's a lot of legends and a lot of past champions roaming around these pits here at the season opener, but the most recent Supercross champion, Chad Reed, is here as well, spectating on the sidelines. Chad, it's pretty well out in the open that at this point you're shopping for a ride for the 09 season. Are you having any luck?
I'm having a lot of fun, actually. You know, just to be here and to be excited. You know, this time last year I couldn't wait to get away from the sport and just kind of let my hair down a little bit. And right now I'm having a good time. I've been riding a lot and just, you know, out here checking things out, watch the competition, and, you know, maybe I can get my deal done and maybe do some races at the end. So, you know, just like I said, it's all having fun. And, you know, right now I'm unemployed and I'm actually kind of feels good just to not have any obligations and anybody to answer to right now. So I'm excited for, you know, for the moment.
Chad, what are your plans for 09?
You know, plans are, you know, they're coming along. You know, I know where I want to go and where I want to be, and just kind of got my head down and working on that. And, you know, definitely going to be a lot of changes, and I'm really excited for that.
Chad Reed, a spectator here this weekend on the sidelines supporting the troops.
Well, Chad Reed checking out all of his friends on the motocross circuit. He's out here spectating. I tell you, he's not riding this championship, but it still has to be hard to be out there racing and winning races and then to watch this one.
Moto 2, Glen Helen, let's do it. Same starting order from practice times. Moto 1 has no impact on the gate. I tell you what, it's almost like a carbon copy. Michael Alessi, hole shot number 2, but James Stewart is a lot closer, side by side through Talladega.
You had that exactly right. Almost carbon copy, but Stewart got inside of Alessi just a little bit sooner. Wow, what a great start for Stewart and Alessi. Both these riders have the opportunity to win the OA.
Andrew Short down and getting back on the bike very gingerly.
Yeah, he's not getting up too fast there. Short on the left side of your screen, he was about 5th. Comes around, loses the front wheel.
Oh, he's got run over.
Balby runs him over. See, Carpenter gets into him.
That's why he got back up and got on his bike gingerly.
Yeah, definitely not good place to go down with the whole field behind you.
James Stewart, Michael Alessi, and Timmy Ferry, top 3. I take that back. It looks like Davey Millsaps is in 3rd.
Yeah, and speaking of behind you, this is everyone behind Stewart. Already this moto. See how, ooh, there's a serious square edge bump there coming out of that turn. Track's going to be dramatically different this moto from the last moto, and you can see where the dirt's dark. That's where they've added a lot of water trying to wet the track down, but there is going to be quite a few dry spots on the edges of the track.
If you're just joining us, Lee Diffie along with multi-time AMA motocross champion Jeff Emig. Take a look at this, Jeff. Tell us what you thought of the start, the whole shot, then the move.
Alessi's such a great starter. Thinks that he has it, and Stewart just a little more aggressive, comes around the inside and actually pushes him high up against the side of Mount St. Helens there.
2 progressive hole shots from 2 starts for Michael Alessi. When you watch this race as a former champion, this track in particular, now in your role as an analyst and also as a spectator, does it blow you away?
Oh, it definitely does. There are some huge jumps on this track, and it's very, very fast.
The 26 Suzuki of Michael Byrne, Jeff Alessi, fighting him. It's Michael Alessi's younger brother. And then chasing, you see Michael Blows in there. You see also Cody Cooper doing well.
You see these riders just having to one line through the sand section here. It's interesting. That's all new sand there, but the rest of the track is very hard packed. A lot of square edge bumps, so the suspension settings will be different for sand and square edge, so it's very difficult to set the bike up.
It's very early in Moto 2, but Alessi and Millsaps are a lot closer to James Stewart, race leader, than what they were in the opening moto.
Well, and we heard from Alessi. He says he was saving it for the second moto, so that gap to first moto could be quite a bit smaller. Alessi feeling very confident here. Davey Millsaps also on the gas here the second moto. Found out there the first moto that there was a little problem with the bike. That's why he backed up the pace, and then at the end of the moto, he really picked it up. So we'll see just how good his fitness is.
There's the gap back to the 101 of Ben Townley, then the 15 of Timmy Ferry. That's 4 and 5. The top of Mount St. Helen. This downhill run is just jaw-dropping.
By the end of the moto, Mount St. Helens downhill is going to be very rough. These riders finding some good lines right now. So we have the rider that's been off on vacation because of injuries, and then Tim Ferry, who's raced just about every lap this season.
Caution flags out, somebody is down up ahead, and the boys will be mindful of that. But this is a great start to the motocross class for Ben Townley on the 101. Dropped it in the opening moto, but then was able to pick the bike back up and finish 6th. Strong points as we take a look at our race leader, just as smooth as you like. At his best, Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki rider James Stewart and his quest for an AMA Toyota Motocross Championship. Left knee, it was an ACL, the anterior cruciate ligament, full cut, full operation, and he is back. Hard to say whether it's at full fitness, but he really looks good.
Well, it certainly seems to be good enough for today. Stewart's so fast and so fluid, and on a track like this, is all these square edge bumps and holes, Stewart just finds a way around all of that.
Timmy Ferry finished 4th in last year's AMA Motocross Championship. would like to be in the top 3, would like the crown, but he will have a very hard fight with his Kawasaki teammate James Stewart.
Speaking of hard fight right now, he's taking a lot of roost on from Ben Townley. You can see him start to drop back a little bit, and in this motocross, these 450 machines, they just throw up so much roost off the back tire. I talk about it all the time because to me it's so relevant. So in this situation, if Ferry's going to pick it up on Townley here, he doesn't want to stay right on his rear wheel. Whoa, Carpenter's out.
Top privateer from the Supercross series, and he has a right knee problem from our assessment, from our view, which is a shame. Jeff Alessi, the last time we saw Jeff, he was out after the 26 of Michael Byrne.
Now he's got Ivan Tedesco on the Red Bull Honda breathing down his neck, and Alessi being on the privateer Honda, Tedesco being on the factory Honda. Cody Cooper just behind them.
And he would be thrilled to be in the top 10, Cody Cooper from New Zealand. Good solid start to the 2008 championship.
You take a look at Tedesco down here, the double triple. Watch how big these braking bumps are. You see Alessi going way to the inside, missing them all, but nobody mistakes this huge square edge coming out of that left-hand turn.
Track rutting up like it does in the second moto. I love this section of the track.
Massive, massive uphill triple. I'm telling you, I take a look at that and I think to myself, wow, this sport is so dangerous. If you had an engine lock up on you right there, it'd be a Superman situation.
You didn't think that when you were riding.
No, no. When you're a rider, you're just totally naive to the danger of this sport, and you're just so focused on it. And it really is something that you have to put out of your mind. You can't be out there racing at this level if you're thinking about the dangers of it.
Cody Cooper starting to reel in Ivan Tedesco and Jeff Alessi. The Suzuki man is eyeing off the Honda boys, and Townley out of Moto 2.
What a disappointment for the 101, Ben Townley. No points in the second moto.
A crash and a 6th in the opening one. It's a DNF in Moto 2. Back at Glen Helen Raceway, speeds coverage of the AMA Toyota Motocross Championship. Bike 7, position 1. James Stewart is styling it up here in California. What a beautiful ride. He was fastest after practice. Didn't get the whole shots. Alessi got both those. But he won the opening moto in dominating fashion and is doing the same here again in Moto 2.
Making it look so easy also. Take a look at Davey Millsaps. Tim Ferry behind him. This is a great battle for third. And this is going to be for third overall. As Ferry was 4th the first moto, Millsaps was 3rd. If Ferry can get past Millsaps, that'll put him on the podium in the 3rd position. So a lot on the line here. Bonus money, get a trophy, get your pictures. That's what it's all about.
The Rockstar Makita Suzuki of Mike Alessi is in 2nd. A little further up the track than the 118 of Davey Millsaps on the No Fear Honda.
You can see both these riders. There's nobody in front of them, nobody behind them. They have a pretty good gap, so it really is just about these two riders battling it out for that final
call
spot on the podium.
For Timmy Ferry there on the inside. We've got the current lap times at the top of your screen crawling across as we enjoy this fight for third.
And you see Ferry really wrestling with the Kawasaki, trying to keep it in line. Corners are just really messy right now. All the lines are going into each other. Mount St. Helens here, very difficult trying to find a drive. Oh, and Eric Sorby is in the fence, and he's down. Lower part of your screen here on the right. Actually on the Joe Gibbs Racing Yamaha, the Toyota Yamaha this weekend, in the absence of Gavin Graysick, who landed the ride.
The battle for third is hotting up. Ferry on the Kawasaki on the outside. Davey Millsaps. Timmy switches line. That was a great cutback.
Ferry gets on the inside. Millsaps tried to close the door on the inside. Ferry just found a little extra line there, extra room, and got through. Tim Ferry on a mission for 3rd place.
Millsaps had that final step on the podium in Moto 1. Timmy wants it in 2.
There's a lot of time left in this moto, and you see Millsaps really starting to turn it up. He knows what's on the line here, and he could do just as what we've seen in the first moto, where he really through the middle part of the race, gets it back.
Millsaps is not handing this back. He's got it back.
Great line through those 5 rollers, too. Just carries his momentum around the outside of Tim Ferry. This is where Millsaps got around Ferry the first moto. Didn't wait for that spot.
There's that one camera shot there as they jump over the edge that really does show you the undulation and the drop-off. It's very difficult to do that justice on television. The camera just tells a little bit of a lie. But this is a brutal racing circuit. Great way to kick off the new motocross season at Glen Helen Raceway, San Bernardino, California. Next round on the schedule is Hangtown Classic in Sacramento.
And right away, Davey Millsaps, that has got a new line there to the inside. Gaps Ferry. It was just a quarter lap ago that he got back by for 3rd place.
Kawasaki, Suzuki, Honda. That's the way it was in Moto 1. It's the way it is in Moto 2. Others in the top 10. Ivan Tedesco is there. The 902 of Cody Cooper. Michael Burns in there. And Sean Hamlin, after getting a great top 10 in the opening moto, he is in the top 10 again here.
Yeah, Hamlin on the tough Yamaha. 8th in the first moto. Hamlin has been absent from AMA Racing. See if he can keep that Yamaha inside the top 10 here in the second moto.
Can Timmy Ferry respond?
Take a look at our lap times on top. 2:48 for Ferry. Millsaps was a 2:47. Then it drops off to 2:50s for Cooper and Alessi and Byrne.
James Stewart on his way to getting his 2nd overall win here at Glen Helen. Raceway located not too far away from the legendary Route 66. A very enjoyable drive. This is a very enjoyable ride for James Stewart on the 7. The Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki. James has been untouched today.
Well, James making it look so easy. It's a smooth ride on that, on the number 7 and the number 800. Mike Alessi having a great ride here today. You see him bumping around there, coming down Mount Whitney, but still a very strong ride as Stewart comes into the white flag. That's a good feeling. You know, he's got a huge lead.
Just to get back to Alessi for a moment as we enjoy watching James Stewart, to say that he was the revelation of last season is maybe a little disrespectful because he's been around for so long, but Mike was definitely the standout of the 2007 AMA Toyota Motocross Championship. We'll see how far he can take it in 2008. Will there be times when he can challenge James Stewart, or is this going to be a lonely season for bike number 7?
Well, I would say that Stewart right now, he looks very strong, very confident, and he's hungry. Thing with Stewart is that he hasn't finished a complete season, you know, without any injuries. So that, I think, is going to be the real challenge for him. And if you're Mike Alessi, you're going to hope for a little mistake. But I'm telling you, Stewart looks as strong, as fit, as focused as what I've ever seen him, and he's very determined.
Alessi had 6 podiums in 2007. He was a championship contender here last year at Glen Helen when it was the final round. Going into those final 2 motos, it was very exciting times. And Grant Langston of South Africa came out on top. This is the final lap, and Stewart is reveling. Top of Mount St. Helen for the final time.
He comes down, the fans are really letting him know just how proud of him they are. Great ride today, I mean, total domination. Nobody's even been, look, the front of his chest, front of his jersey, number plate, not a speck of dirt on the bike except on the tires and under the fenders. That's a good day of racing in my book.
Over the years here at Glen Helen, in the main class, not the lights class, Kawasaki has dominated the lights class, but in the main class, there's just been a sprinkling of overall victories. The man sitting alongside me, Jeff Emig, took Kawasaki to a win here at Glen Helen. James Stewart is about to get his 2nd on the green machine.
Well, and Lee, back in 1997, I had a very similar day to what James is having now. And why it's relevant here is that I know that feeling where you're just so dialed in. There's just, I mean, it's like every bump, you just kind of float over. Okay, you hit every line perfectly, and you seem to do it very easy. It's effortless, and that's all the confidence and all the hard work that goes on to make Sunday your easiest day. Stewart training with Eldon Baker, you know Sunday's the easy day because he doesn't have to be on the bicycle or in the gym or on the clock during the practice and training. So it's all about working hard during the week to make race day the easy day, and Stewart definitely has made it look easy here today.
There it is. The knee is strong. Bubba is back. There is no doubt about that. James Stewart, he's back at a great fitness level. The riding, the rhythm today has just been superb. Checkered flag out for James Stewart. 2 from 2, the overall victory, and he is here to win his first AMA Toyota Motocross Championship in 2008. Well done, Michael Alessi. He gets 2 and 2. What a ride from the Kawasaki man. We'll hear from him when we come back. Things up here, I want to remind you that Father's Day is June 15th, and there's no better gift than Speed Swag. Hurry to speedtv.com for all new styles of high-quality speed, hats, jackets, and plenty more. Snag some Speed Swag for Dad this year. Log on to speedtv.com, keyword swag. Order it now. An overview of the results. Couple to highlight there. Cody Cooper in 6th, Sean Hamlin in 8th. Terrific result, and Nick Way squeaking into the top 10 as well. Now let's hear from our podium men.
Well, Davey Millsaps makes his way up here. You can see the blister that is all spread on his thumb there. Pretty disgusting. Davey, today's track, a challenging one. A lot of changes were made. How difficult was this track to make passes on today?
Oh, it was, it was one line. All the sand was one line, basically the whole track. But I made some passes and made some passes on me. So I don't know, it was a good race for me, and it's a long season. It's good to be on the podium the first race, and like I said, it's a long season. I'll get here every time.
Time to take a look at the Toyota Trucks overall results. So combining motos 1 and 2, it's a 1-1 for James Stewart, 2-2 for Alessi, 3-3 for Davey Millsaps. Here's Mike Alessi.
Well, for 3 years in a row, Mike Alessi has gone 2-2. That's 6 motos in a row for 2-2. Mike, what is it going to take for you to elevate your game from that second place to take that first?
You know, I'm trying my hardest. I mean, I've been second so many times. I mean, I don't want to be second anymore, and I was trying my butt off, and James is going fast, but it's a long season, you know. I mean, still got 22 motos to go. That moto was awesome, you know. I was riding my butt off trying to catch him, but we'll see what happens at Sacramento. I just want to thank all the guys at Rockstar Nikita Suzuki.
Championship points, 1 of 12. It's going to be a long season, isn't it? That's how they head to Hangtown. It's all about James Stewart, though, here at Glen Helen.
Well, James Stewart has ridden the least amount he's ever rode in his entire life since his injury last year in Washougal. James, how is it possible that you seem to be getting faster while sitting still?
Because I want it, you know. I let this title slip away from me this year and last year, and then got hurt in Supercross. So, you know, we've just been working really hard to just get back, and you know, I didn't think I would go 1-1 today. You know, to be honest with you, I knew I've been preparing right, but it was the help of everybody. I'm so stoked.
Did you know what to expect from your competition?
No, to be honest, I thought I'd be way slower. You know, I've been off, you know, for 4 months now, and you know, I had 3 weeks worth of riding. So, hey, I'm happy. I'm so stoked.
There's no doubt he has raised the bar to a new level. As we mentioned a couple of times, the next round is at Hangtown, the Motocross Lights Classic. We look forward to that.
Well, Stewart put on a fantastic ride today. Everybody behind him, Alessi, Millsaps, Ferry, the Honda boys, they got a lot of work to do if they want to catch Stewart here. It's going to be a long summer.
On behalf of Aaron Bates, Jeff Emming, I'm Lee Diffie. Thanks for being a part of the AMA Toyota Motocross Championship here on Speed. And watch out for Hangtown next week.